Hey, I'm Angie. Welcome to my podcast, Chaotic Harmony. For the longest time in my life, I felt unseen until I was needed. That feeling of being needed almost became my drug of choice. If one needs me, I'm good enough. And if I'm good enough, I am loved. That cycle started when I was young. And that drug of my choice, well, that, my friend, was hard to kick. I find it hard to talk about anything from my past that is more serious these days without being labeled playing the victim or someone who is seeking attention. Shit, I find myself labeling my own thoughts at times. So, how is, everybody else could do it too. But in return, the healing that I so desperately want and need gets put in the back burner. And that little girl inside me remains hiding in the shadows, waiting for the right day to come out and say something. But in reality, is there really a right day? That perfect day to stand up for yourself? If I want my children to stand up for themselves, then why am I showing them I can't? That seems a bit ludicrous. With that being said, I declare today to be the perfect day to stand up for myself. Today is my day to heal. I might as well bring you with me on this little journey. Have fun. I had a therapist. Well, I had quite a few over the years, actually. But I had one in particular that told me to write a no send letter to help me move forward. It was considered my homework. I didn't see the point in it at the time, so I never really did. And when she said homework, to be honest, my ears completely shut off. At that time, I was also still a hot mess when it came to getting my mental health in order. So, whatever I would have had written down at the time to any person wouldn't have been healthy or helpful to me or that person. And I probably would have sent those damn letters out of spite, causing even more damage. But like I said, today is a different day. I have a new platform, my podcast, that I can work with. Now, it's not in letter form, nor is it staying personal. However, I never cared for my therapist, and I always tried to do it my way. I won't know if my words will ever be heard by the ones they are intended for, but I will have heard them myself. I will know I said everything I wanted to say with a clear mind, body, and soul. Maybe sharing my no send letters with you will help you heal or make you feel like you are not alone in your journey. The two letters I wanted to share with you today are for two important people that used to be in my life, my parents. Letter number 1. Dear Mom, I saw you getting your mail as I drove past. I wanted to stop and ask you if you wanted to join me that day. I was going to visit your mother's gravesite because it was the first anniversary of her death. I was really struggling that day and thought you might be as well. I mean, we both lost a mom that day. But instead, I watched you from afar and wondered if we would ever have a relationship in the future. I actually found myself daydreaming of us sitting together at a coffee shop, talking about my grandchildren, your great grandchildren. But that's all one huge fantasy. I had to let go of any and all possibilities my mind seemed to want to for so long. My husband was right, Whenever he asked me why I was torturing myself when it came to you, I told him it was because I loved you and you loved me. He told me what I was experiencing wasn't love. Being used and then thrown to the side isn't love. Hiding our mother daughter relationship wasn't love. Pinning my siblings against me wasn't showing me any kind of love. It took many years for me to realize that he was actually correct for once. I honestly didn't know what love looked like or felt like before he came into my life. Maybe that is why you don't like him. He was the only man to ever stick up for me. I only knew what I was growing up with: secrets, lies, yelling, crying, pretending to be someone I'm not, being judgmental to everything, everyone, you name it, keeping up with the Joneses, all of that. All of those qualities I learned from you and Dad, and they do not make a good marriage. Trust me, I did them all. And all it caused was major heartache and the possibility of never being trusted again. Mom, I wanted you to know that even though I may never talk to you again or be a part of your family, I will still love you from afar. I had to set healthy boundaries for myself, so don't worry. I won't bother you in public if our paths do cross, unless you approach me. I truly want nothing but the best for you. I understand now that you were the best mom you could be to me at the time, now that I'm older and wiser. But most of all, I forgive you. Love, your firstborn, Angela. Now, there are secrets to a good marriage, a great marriage, but there should never be secrets in any marriage. Even if you feel like it may be nothing, it's everything. I find myself oversharing everything with my husband simply because I never want another secret in our marriage ever again. If anything, my mother taught me more about life and love than I actually realized. Maybe that is what these no send letters are meant for. Truth is, once I got mentally stable, I took a long, hard look around me and saw who was around and who wasn't. That's when I realized as much as I was needed at one point in time, those same people that needed me weren't there when I truly needed them. I could want all I wanted, but that wasn't going to make someone want to be in my life. And that is where my healthy boundaries came into play. Letter number 2. Dear Dad, I heard a song by Reba called The Greatest Man I Never Knew today, and I thought of you. I always thought you were the hardest working man I ever knew. A man that had to have his noodles cooked perfectly or they were shit. You would throw them away. A man that had to have his tuna sandwich made a certain way, and if it wasn't done correctly, once again, you tossed it. A man with many dreams, all of them that you tried to achieve. I only knew those things though, nothing else. I want you to know that for some reason, I idolized you throughout my childhood. Most daughters do idolize their fathers, so that's no, it's understandable. But I said for some reason because you were the only man at that time that I thought could protect me when I was younger from anything, from the monster under the bed, anything. But the one time I needed you the most, you asked me what I was wearing to make the man of amazing faith do that to me. And after that, you also broke your promise when you said you would be there for me. I actually never forgave you for that. It only pushed me away even more. It hurt to know that as long as nobody knew my dirty little Amish secret, your image wouldn't be tarnished. You would still be able to work for the other Amish families of great faith in our area. It hurt the most that I was asked what I was wearing that day to entice it, instead of something like, what can I do for you? What can I help you with? Or even just a hug would have been great. I want you to know that over the years, I carried that with me. But I am okay now. I'm actually better than okay, actually. I'm better than okay. At first, I didn't know how to handle your reactions that day and the days that followed. But now, as a grown woman, I realized you may have struggled with the same situation, the whole situation, and didn't want me to see that you were struggling. Part of me wonders if your reaction was out of fear of losing business. Either way, Dad, I want you to know that I forgive you for everything. I really do. Love, your firstborn, the one you named Angela. You know, growing up in a house that was more worried about their image than the truth was never easy, especially when you're the oddball of them all, especially when it came to the situation I was put into unwillingly. I found out later on in life that many sexual assault survivors have family members that act as my father did. I can't say that I am healed from that situation, but I can say I forgive my father and the other family members that pushed everything under the rug. It is hard to believe a man of such great faith and looks so great and can do such amazing work would do such a thing to my teenage self. But he did. What frustrated me even more, though, was that the man's son, a few years after the fact, felt like he had to apologize to me for his father's reactions when he bumped into me in public. I didn't even realize his son knew about it, so it was a shock to me. That poor son was crying, and I was telling him it was okay. It was okay that it happened. It was okay that his dad did that. I didn't want his son to carry with him what his dad did. My parents told me I needed to keep quiet about everything, so I wasn't even sure I was believed by anyone until his son came up to me. Who else was harmed by the same man of faith? I have heard rumors about a few other women, but maybe, just maybe, the man of great faith, the Amish man, could have been stopped a long time ago if actions were actually taken against him sooner. That's what I'm saying, Dad. The lesson I took from this whole situation was honestly never underestimate anyone, for they too can be a man in sheep's clothing. Now, I mentioned having healthy boundaries earlier. Setting healthy boundaries is essential for your emotional, physical, and mental health. They allow you to communicate your wants and needs while also respecting the wants and needs of others. I am by no means an expert on any topic. I want to make that perfectly clear. I am just going off of my own experiences. Unhealthy boundaries can be driven by believing you can't say no. And in my case, I was always the one that said, yes, I can. I was needed. That made me feel loved. So if that phone rang and someone needed me, I said yes. Even if I didn't want to, even if it messed up my entire day, I did it. That my dear, is totally unhealthy. Once I started saying no and sticking to my word, I'm not going to lie, it hurt. It hurt me. And there was a lot of tension. I felt like I was even like less worthy of that person's love and attention. But over time, that feeling started to fade away. And I noticed I had less pressure on my shoulders. I was able to sit back and truly ask myself many questions. I'm actually always asking myself questions. Some of which were, do I want to constantly feel like I'm not good enough? Do I want to keep saying yes even though I want to say no? Do I want to justify others' actions? That's a big one. Am I respecting myself and the ones I love? Who the fuck am I? Do I want to be known? What do I want to be known for when I die? Is a big one. After I asked myself a million questions, then and only then was I able to establish my healthy boundaries. And since then, I noticed a huge change in myself. A good one, I would like to think. I no longer put myself on the back burner. I say no when needed. I don't allow people in with complete trust. I have that offense there. That little girl that was once hiding in the shadows is now free. All I had to do was love myself, embrace the fact that I can't change the past, but I can change how I look at it, and forgive. Life is uncertain. Why go to the grave with unsaid words and actions, right? Take action and seize the day. You know, that too is probably why someone came up with these no send letters. Those letters aren't for the actual person. They're for the writer. I honestly believe in these no send letters now. I really do. I wish I would have taken it a little bit more seriously a while ago, but they do say better late than never. Thank you for tuning in and allowing me to be a part of your day. I hope I inspired at least one person by sharing my no send letters. If you haven't already, check out my Facebook page, Chaotic Harmony, and give her a follow. Last but not least, go out there, embrace the weird, and make normal feel boring. Bye.